All right, so for tonight, this is going to be a very interactive PowerPoint presentation because I want all of you involved. This is going to be fun and it's all about design. Okay, so my first one here is that we're thinking a block ahead, and totally what I want you to think about is just block and block designs. And the questions I want you to ask yourself are, what block designs should I quilt on my quilt, and how can I quilt those block designs that I want to? And so I picked a few designs here that I kind of created. I just thought they were kind of fun and a little whimsical. So I'm going to go to page 2 now. Okay, so when you get your quilt together, you need to get your pre-quilting checklist out and collect all your materials. But part of your materials are usually your ruler base, your ruler foot, and my templates. But the other thing is my game plan. How do I want to quilt each of the blocks on my quilt? And sometimes it helps to have an overall theme, and I'll correct theme, you guys, for your quilt. And so if it's a gift for somebody, it's sometimes really easy to think about them and what they like. But I don't want to forget about you. You're the quilter. So I always want you to add a little bit of you to every quilt you quilt. Whether you have a style of quilting that you like, and whether it's just a design that you like to do over and over, whether or not you like to put your name secretly someplace or you want to write a little quote. Each of us need to have what we call just kind of our signature block and our look. I think it's a lot of fun. It kind of makes us more of an artist because, you know, every artist has their own style out there. So think about the person, think about you, and let's talk about the quilts. So with each quilt, I kind of work on a technique, especially when I'm free motion quilting. And so the last quilt I did, I really tried to work on my feathers and gain more control as I was quilting, and to make it look like it was easier for me to adjust my frame and make it all level and get my sewing machine sewing really nice. So those were the things that I was working on the last quilt, and I'll show you that quilt that I did. But this quilt that I'm going to work on after I get it all pieced and start quilting on it is what I want to work on is my arcs and my curves. So make them more precise and my points match up correctly. So what is it that's going to help me move past the mismatching points? Is it a ruler? And I don't always want to use the ruler. So I want to get more stable and more accurate as I'm making a curve. So I'm going to really work on my curves this quilt. Okay. So let's go to the next screen. So for this quilt, I think it's really fun to kind of select and choose designs, and whether or not you quilt them on your quilt, it's fun to just have some extras. So I went and picked some sashing designs that I thought would look good. And I thought this triangle one that I designed would look awesome, but it doesn't. And so I'm telling you, it's really fun to kind of put them on the quilt and print off your block and size them and shape into shape and add them to your quilt. So these are my sashing designs that I kind of auditioned. So Becky talks about auditioning designs. That's what I'm doing here. I'm picking designs that I want to try out on my quilt. Then the next screen is full blocks. Okay, so I went into the automation. I kind of got some inspiration from the automation, and I also went onto some websites and I looked at it and I thought, okay, what designs do I think I can handle and pick from? And there were some out there that I thought, hey, I could kind of design that. So I started designing in Pattern CAD, but it also helped me understand the direction and how to create as I'm quilting these beautiful designs. So I want to talk about a couple of them here. Now, some of them are really busy, and if you're free motion quilting and you're starting out and you're just kind of a beginner, these are designs right here that I probably wouldn't pick and choose to free motion quilt. But this design here, simple and easy enough, and you could fill it in with little stipples and it could be really stunning. This is a good design here. It's just a little arcs going all the way around. And this was a really fun one that I had fun designing. That would be really quite simple. You just have to get your registration marks to make it nice and precise. This also wouldn't be too bad, but there's some overstitching on it, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. This one is totally arcs. So if you want that look, this is one that I probably choose for the automation, but um, I would kind of tweak it so it wasn't so circular and that there's a room for some challenges or some mistakes in there. You could use a little circle template and make that work, but it's not closed. So if I was using a template, I would actually close this whole thing and make it two little circles, like two little eyes, and this is his smiley face. So I think that would be really fun, but that's how I would quilt it without using the automation. And then this is quite easy, you think, but it's not. And this is the arcs that I'm talking about. How do you make them nice and precise and even on each side? And most of the times I will use a ruler, but I'd like to get good enough that I don't have to use a ruler all the time. And so that's the angle that I really want to practice and get better at, is making it rounded and not so elongated like I struggle with. Okay, this is a design that I designed in Pattern CAD because I wanted to see how to quilt it out. And it was really a lot of fun. So I did each of these on the points, and I came in and did the center, and then I went down and across, and I did the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So it was a lot of fun. I filled it in with the figure 8 on the points. So my next screen I want to talk about, and this is where we're going to jump in and show you how to use, what is it called, Jacqueline? The annotate.
Annotate.
Yeah, annotate. So it's at the top of your screen, you guys, to the right of the pause button. And if you click on annotate, it will allow you to use some pencil tools. And I just wanted to show you how I designed this. So that very, very, very useful. So anyway, I came up and I did this little box first. So I had some jumping off points. Then when I got back up to this point, I was able to come around. Sorry, it's not beautiful, but, and then come back this way and make that side of my heart. And then I came on the inside and worked my way out on this side. And then I was able to move down, do my straight line, and overstitch on that straight line because I already had the box, and come and do this heart. But as I'm quilting it, I want you to think about, so I came down and came back in. So sometimes I will go on the outside, sometimes I will go on the inside. So you guys can all join me and just practice, and then I go down and do the next one. So having your registration marks are really important. So I would make a mark right here. I'd make a mark coming across right here, an X for my registration marks, and come up all the way across so they make it nice and straight and even. Okay. But anyway, that's how I designed this block. Working on your path while you're quilting and creating your designs is really important. And it will help you move through the block much quicker and faster. Now I am going to trace all this. So they're all drawings. Okay, now let's come over to this one. This is a little easier, I think. Okay, so this one I actually started in the middle. Okay, so I came up around and I came back, but then I came around and then I overstitched. So I did the center first and then I came up halfway. So this one's a little more difficult, but then you can figure out how you want to, if you want to overstitch and come halfway down. This is probably one I would draw the design on the background first and then go around it so I have it nice and perfect. This is where a paper template can come in very handy. And all you need to do is cut out the outer edges of paper template. So I would take this, cut out all the outer edges, and then lay it down, and then I can fill the inner portions of it very easily. But then I have the outline of this whole design. So it'd be a lot of fun. All right, we're going to go to the next page here. I'm going to stay with the annotate. I will have to come back. This one here, all right. This one here, oh, I didn't get rid of it, so I'll have to go back to my annotate. So hang on. We'll bring it back up, and I will get rid of it. I'm going to erase it, or trash it, clear out. All right, so this design here was really easy, and this is one that I would probably use my ruler or my template, and I would use it as the art. But also, I want to make sure that we're making our registration lines. So I'd make a mark all the way down and all the way across, so I know where I need to land to make my points. And by having this mark here, I can easily align up to make sure my arch is the same on the both sides. Then once you have this, then you can come up and create this inner circle right here. So making those marks are really important so that we can create our designs more accurately. So sometimes you only need 4, sometimes you'll need 6. So you'll come up and around like this, and around and around. Nice job. Who's ever doing that? Really, way to go. And then this one here was really fun because I was able to do a little figure 8 in these points. And that was more of a challenge than you think to make it nice and precise and by flipping it. But getting from one point to the next is also a challenge. So make sure that you remember to use your ditch line. So each block has a seam, and we call that the ditch. And to get from one point to the next, all you have to do is work your way to the outer edges and sew along this ditch line, and it'll be hidden somewhat. And then you can jump in and start creating more of your design. So that ditch line is really, really important. Okay, next block, okay? So let's talk about this block right here. All right, let's get rid of. All right, so this one's a little more complicated, but it's actually easier than you think. Okay, so this is a Dresden design. So if you had a cute little Dresden plate, you're always starting in the middle. So I'd go up and over and down. And then to make my little pebbles, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to come up and do my little circle and do my figure 8s to make my pebbles nice and very uniform. Boy, this can be a real stunning design. And then I'll work my way down. Now, another way you could do this, I'm just going to trash clear all my drawings. Okay. So another way you could do this is the back and forth, the figure 8 right here. And I'd come up this direction. And then the problem with this is as we're going around, sometimes you don't get it quite right, and you kind of miss that mark. So I kind of like to go all the way around and then come back to make my full circle. And so try it a couple of different ways on paper. And then when you get to the machine and the frame, try it a couple of different ways there. So you kind of understand what you're really good at and what you want to stay away from, because you will have overstitching that would be harder to unpick. So this is one of those ones that it'll be a lot of fun to do. However, it's a little more challenging, but I tell you, it's a lot easier than it looks. This one right here is fun. So getting you the right ruler for this one that has the arcs. So when it comes to arcs, each one has a radius. And so to make the radius even on both sides, I will actually make marks on my ruler or my template so I know where I'm going to start. So if I had a big old arc that was out to here, I would make my marks right here, one in the middle, and one right here, so that I'm matching up all my points. And then I can just turn it, do the other side, and then I'll make the little inner ones. And by having those marks on your template, they'll really help you move through your quilt much faster and quicker. All right, let's move on. I'll get rid of this one. We're just going to leave those there. Okay, so now I've got to get rid of the the design. So we'll get rid of, and we'll put them. All right, so this is where I had fun with sizing and designing. I wanted to show you this little triangle design. I thought, hey, that's so cool. I was really proud of it, but look at the problem in the stashing. So some of the designs that you pick out aren't good for the quilt that you're quilting them on. And so by just trying them out and in the section that you want to use them, it's really a good practice to start doing, because this one I like, but I would fill it in with more of the lines and then quilt it out. So it made me want to change this design so I could fill it in as one big rectangle, but I haven't figured quite out how to do that. And so I'm going to work on that, because I don't want it sewing straight up and down right here and right here. So I'm going to work on that and see if I can fix it. I'll let you know whether or not I do. You might see this design a little later on. This one right here is a great sashing design because it's a little bubble, a little round circle. It is really easy to do. And this again is just, I went around, kind of overstitched, came back and around and did my little loop and came back around and kept going. This is a fun one, and it makes a really good sashing design. This one right here, a lot of empty space. Not one that I would really pick and choose for a sashing. And this one as well. Now I could go and fill this one in and bring this little section, I think, over and flip it. So hang on. Let me see if I can flip this one. Flip it upside down, okay, and rotate it slightly. And then, nope, it's not going to work. But I could do that, and then I could take this one and move it. So that could look cool and nice. I just have to figure out how to do that and how to make that look nice. So that will look good in the sashing as well. This one right here, it's just a little larger version of this one here. This one was a real fun one. It was just a single design that kind of nests in that little crevice, and so it makes a little nice even sashing design. And this one was not that hard to do. So you just start right here. You're going to come up and over, do your arc, come back around, and well, we're going to come, where am I starting? I can't remember, you guys. So, and then come back around and then do the same thing and keep going over and over and over again. I got really good at this one, and I can't remember how to quilt it, so I'll have to figure that one out. All right, and then my little daisy. This is the top part of a daisy, and so I just chopped it off. It could be kind of fun, but like I said, a lot of negative space. But I would size it, and I think just a full daisy would look adorable there. All right, so that's the sashing around the blocks. So remember to stay away from directional designs. That's why I picked the up downs, okay? And because they're not directional, so that these spaces in here will look just as even as all the ones around the block. Now, let's have fun here, you guys. So this is where I was auditioning all these block designs. So here's one that I talked to you about that's a little more busy and a little more detailed that I thought would be really hard. Here's my little Dresden. Look how nice that looks, and look how it matches up. This one is a great design. It'd be very easy to place and use. And then this is my little heart design that I designed. And see how it fits in that little hexagon shape really nicely. And then right here, let's pull this one off. Put this one up here, and we can size and shape it. See how pretty that looks? By jumping off and showing all these pretty designs, that really makes this block even pop even more with the design. This one's kind of want on that block. So try this one. That's pretty cool. And then this one right here, let's put this one right here. And then we can size this one. Play with your blocks. If you have Word, you guys can do this as well. kind of play with them and get to learning them and understand what it looks like, and pick and choose your blocks. I could do this all day. It's a lot of fun for me. All right. Well, let me show you my little video, and then we're going to talk some more about the quilt that I did. So let me bring this up, and let's get that started. Everybody, we're ready to quilt, and we're going to think a block ahead. And this is a quilt. It's not the one for Quilter's Playground, but this is a quilt that I've had for a long time because I've been really frustrated about what designs do I put on. And so I finally figured out my sashing design, and I will show you. This is it. So it's a square on point, and then I did the little scallops, and I did the center, and then I went back and I added this little circle all the way across. So a really fun design. I think it'll look great on this quilt. Now let's talk about the setup of our frame. Notice that I have it rolled a little bit further in than this direction because I'm not as tall and long as others who have longer arms, and so I'm trying to make it comfortable for me. So I rolled it so that it would make it easier on my back and my shoulders to align everything. And so I just want to also show you why making it and positioning it for you to quilt will give you better results. Then you're not fighting the frame and the machine. So make sure it's sewing good, and then as you're quilting, make sure your marks are lined up. So I notice I just did half of the triangle. Well, I can do the full triangle going all the way across, and then I can make my marks match up right here and right here. So that would be a better way of doing it. I just didn't think about it till I was talking to Marie and she's filming this. And so I'm just going to turn it on, and I have my settings on my machine with the needle to stop in the down position so I can reposition it, and also I'm using regulated precise mode. I like that when I'm using ruler work, and I did change to my ruler foot. It will give you more accurate stitching, and you'll notice I'm using my new 21 with the lights and everything, and I want to just make sure that my points match up. So I'm going to stop right there. Now I can reposition my ruler, and now I can go all the way down and make it match up with this point right here. So it's going to be one long stitch, but this is a better way of sewing the stitching line and making my points, my stops and starts match up. Now I just have a little one, so I want to make it match up to this point right here, this line, and I want to go up. Right here, stop, and you'll notice that I kind of went into the orange. That's okay. And I'm going back around, so now I've got one big long stitch. So that's how you'll do it, and you'll line it up. Okay, so I know that you guys are going to decide what you want on your quilts. That's okay. And I'm kind of overstitching on some areas, and I apologize. But I'm like you guys, I'm still learning too. If you know it all. Okay, so now here's my tricky part. Now I want to make sure that this matches up to that point. And if I had to do it over again, okay, that was pretty good. Okay, and now I'll go up. There. A little curve right there, but I think as I get all my other stitching lines on, nobody will really notice. Okay. All right. So now I need to decide whether or not I want to use this ruler here to make that scallop. And it's an inside scallop going all the way around. So I want to make sure that it matches right here. Then I'll just do these side pieces right here. And you'll notice I have a piece of tape as I'm going around. And then I'll turn it and keep going all the way across. Once I do the scallop all the way around on all four corners, I'll do my little center spiral, and then I'm going to go around and do this. So I will show you what it looks like, and I'll take a picture of it. I'm going to have fun with that. But let's talk with some more blocks, okay? So let's talk simpler blocks.
And these are really simple designs to make. As you're creating them, all this is a loop. And so you'll start here at the top, and notice that I have 4 triangles right here. So I'm just going to come up and around, loop up, and then right here, stop right here, make my little point. So now it looks like a little flower. This is a beautiful design to use for block designs. Now I went a little further and I did a little star, 4-point star, and then I just echoed back and forth all the way across. And you'll notice I did stitch in the ditch. That's a really pretty overall design. So I'm kind of graduating from simple to a little more complex. And then this, I just filled it in. So I did my little star shape, my 4 little points, and then I added a little loop right here, and I echoed around it. So you can have a lot of fun with blocks, and I'm going to show you a little bit more as we're designing and quilting. But this is just a little bit of inspiration. I'm showing you what I'm going to be doing, and I'm excited to show you the rest. Okay, everybody, we're ready.
Sorry, guys. Now, okay, I wanted to show you my sashing block. So this is the block right here with the yellow that I did the little extra loop in there. I didn't like it, so I went and unpicked it, you guys. I hated it. Now, this is without it, and I went and took it all the way out, and I just did the arc on the other side, and I like it much better. The only part that I really don't like is this little point right here, and I may go and unpick this and may make it match up a little bit better. This is bugging me, so trust me, I probably will unpick it. But I just need to get ready for this, and I want to show you. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. It's part of the process of quilting. And if I was so afraid of trying out a new design, then I would never be quilting, and I'd always be doing having somebody else do it for me that they have more confidence in. So I just go for it. Now, I know I like this design, and for all the others, now I understand what I need to do, the directions I need to go, and how to quilt it. And I just had to unpick a little bit, and for me to get an overall feel. And it probably won't be the last time, but use the rulers, use the templates to help you move past some of those frustrating points. So the next one is, I wanted to show you the last quilt that we designed for Quilter's Playground. I finally got it quilted, and this is it. I had so much fun with this, and the reason I had so much fun is I took away some of the expectations, and I kind of just let myself go and be free and make some mistakes and kind of just quilt. What I really wanted to work on was my control. I wanted to practice my control and echoing around the different blocks and maintaining that control and that equal distance between them. So I did a different border. I've never really conquered the border before, and it's similar to the sashing that I'm doing. So I did the little triangle on point. Then I filled this in with like a little petal shape. And then up here, I did little piano keys to fill in the top. And it turned out really, really nice. Now for my inner border, I just did little pearls, they call them, or little circles all the way across. And I used kind of the similar designs over and over and over again. I used feathers all over the place, some little paisleys, but I had a lot of fun. And what I did in one corner, I tried to keep uniform and do the other corners, and it worked out really well. And this is just another section of it. I just wanted to show you how much fun I had doing it. I really had fun doing these little quarter circles. I really liked those. Those were a lot of fun. And in the bottom, I just wanted to show you this bottom one. I did little flowers. I did the same little flower. I did little points on this one and this one. And I did it more rounded with spirals in the middle. And I just did a little grid in each of these squares. But that was really kind of more than I've ever done in free motion. And I had a lot of fun. All right, so these are some of my designs that I auditioned. This is the one that I practiced that I showed you a little earlier. This is just loops, but they look like little hearts as you're going across. This is a really easy one for triangles, which we're going to try next month. We're going to talk about triangles, but I was just practicing little hearts. So you notice that this design here was my inspiration for the one little heart that I designed that we practiced earlier. Now, here we go, you guys. Get that annotate tool out, okay? Let's pick on it. It's up at the top. When you click on it, click on the annotate. It's to the right of the pause. Come and pick out your color. I'm going to pick out this green and then just kind of have fun. Now, sometimes it's easier to do marks all the way down to help you as you're quilting. So I would do some registration marks. So let me show you how much fun it is. This little, now don't judge me by this, but it's kind of fun. And so I'd go up like this. You could do them different ways. You could do just 2 loops. You could do 4 loops. Have fun. This is the first block. I want to see what you guys quilt. It's not easy with the mouse and the pen. It's much easier to draw. This is a great way for you to get more steady. Wow, some of you were really creative. And then you could just do up, downs too. If this is all you're comfortable with, go for it, you guys. These are fun too. That looks great. Right, you ready to go to the next one? We're getting close on time, so I'll get to the next one and we'll wrap things up. All right, so we can have a little question and answer. I'm gonna clear all the drawings. We're gonna go to the next page. I'm gonna get rid. It's too bad I have to do this annotate every time, but we will. This is the second block, so have fun, you guys. Just click on this second block. And just know that I've got all the templates for each of the blocks. And we're going to send those out with the presentation so you guys can practice. I really encourage you to practice drawing and making designs. These will really help you as you're quilting, and also help you when you're picking out designs for automation to put on your quilt blocks. So play with it and have a lot of fun. All right, we're gonna skip down because we're running out of time to the next. So I will click on my annotate and I will put everything in the garbage, clear out. So you will have all 16 blocks in there for you to practice on and practice all your drawings. And I just want you to have fun. I want you to get creative. I want you to be bold and brave and conquer blocks. And I want you to be thinking of how you can become a fabulous designer and quilter by thinking a block ahead. Okay, so please like us, you guys. Please share with us. Please help us grow and tell everybody that you want to about us. And our goal is to grow this into the biggest group ever. And our goal is to be the kindest, sweetest, most loving, conducive place that you ever want to spend a Wednesday night or time here at Grace. So please come and be a part of it. And I love you guys. You are the best. And we couldn't do it without you. And we so appreciate everything you do to help us move forward. And just know this isn't it. We've got more to come. And we're going to talk about the automation and how to quilt using blocks and block placements. And we've got a lot to show you.
So now this will be recorded. It is being recorded. It will be posted on YouTube. So when you get the link for that, please like it, comment, share, subscribe to our YouTube channels, all the fun things. Support our growth here in the playground and our growth as a company would be greatly appreciated.